My lords, today we shall discuss a highly advanced but extremely isolationist empire. To those in the know, I speak of the Habinte Unified Worlds, a civilization capable of moving not just planets, but creating and deleting hyperlanes at will. Now, later in today's report, I shall detail how we discovered them, but first, I want to float the idea that this empire may be linked to both, or either, the Stellaris, the species of stellar engineers supposedly wiped out by the xenophobic isolationists, and or the Ultima Vigilis system. I am even going to go as far to say that perhaps the Habinte represent a pacifistic fallen empire. Certainly, they appear to have been as powerful, if not more powerful, than the fallen empires we are aware remain in our galaxy today. Let's discuss the links. As you will become aware, the Habinte are incredibly technologically capable. They have the ability to manipulate hyperlanes in previously unthought of ways, even creating micro-hyperlanes to transport goods between planets directly. They have also shown an ability to move entire planets and stars. Now, who else do we know that were capable of this feat? The Stellaris. Shalash was once home to the Stellarian people. Its 6 moons, with orbits at equidistant intervals, is evidence of their stellar terraforming capabilities. However, when we found this star system, we found their planets in ruins, and the entire star system showed signs of an extraordinarily violent struggle. We discovered, through in-depth archaeological dig sites, that around 1,000 years ago, when their civilization was at its peak, they were utterly annihilated by the xenophobic, isolationist Fallen Empire. Now, we know that the Stellaris neglected any significant form of military. Instead, they found pleasure in projects such as terraforming a nearby moon to be a perfect copy of their homeworld pre-industrialization. Back then, the xenophobes were every bit as unpleasant as they appear to be today. It seems that the Stellaris were to wake a sleeping giant. So abhorrent was the Stellarian views on peace and pacifism, they wiped this system and their people from existence. When the deed was done, the xenophobes left behind an automated guardian to ensure no survivors could ever return and thus revive the civilization they so hated. But this has raised good questions that we've never truly been able to answer. After all, is it not odd that such an advanced civilization at the peak of their powers could become so powerful without any form of military whatsoever, at the very least even for defensive purposes? And secondly, is it not odd that such an advanced civilization hadn't predicted this would happen to them? Thus, I think it's worth speculating that the Stellaris did predict this was coming, and although they didn't have the means to defend themselves with ships and guns, they did have the capability to hide. I can absolutely believe that they duped the xenophobes, so enraged with their genocidal xenophobic lust, they missed that the Stellaris teleported themselves off-world, to Dacha, the home of the Habinte, and then they hid themselves for the past 1,000 years. We know from the text that the Stellaris had managed to bring about an age of post-scarcity. We also know they could manipulate stellar bodies, and all of this fits with the Habinte. I think there is a real possibility that they are the long-lost Stellaris, and that they remain hiding to this day, enjoying their lives of utopian abundance upon their perfect Gaia worlds. However, that is not all I shall speculate on, because I also think there's the possibility that they could be the creators of the Ultima Vigilis system. Ultima Vigilis is a real oddity, and it has always been. The star system has no hyperlane connections. It can only be entered via jump drive technology or a quantum catapult. Does that sound familiar? It is also significantly outside the galactic halo. It's a machine world, clearly artificial in nature, and appears to be patrolled by, would you believe it, artificial Fallen Empire fleets. Each are made up of 1 Titan, 5 battle cruisers, and 20 escorts. Now, I've speculated before in great detail about the nature of the Ultima Vigilis system, because of course we wonder if it was built by the enigmatic hunters, those who pursue the Pythorian scourge, or perhaps it's linked to the contingency It could even be a listening array for empires who seek to prevent a Class 30 singularity. But it has never clicked with me before that it could very well be the Habinte. They could use this system to listen and watch over the rest of the galaxy from afar. After all, we assume that they need to check, or at least keep tabs on any potential threats to their isolation. So, is it possible? Of the two speculations, I think it's far more likely that the Stellaris turn out to be the Habinte, and the Ultima Vigilis system is indeed linked to something else, but it's interesting to throw that into the pot. In any case, that ends the speculation portion of the report. Let's now delve into the Habinte and how we discovered them in the first place. This discovery began when Dr. Richards, aboard the CNS Reliant, noticed during routine surveillance that the Helios system, currently under consideration for construction of a Dyson swarm, was in fact lacking celestial bodies. The good doctor has written us a report, which reads, "All calculations point to the existence of several more celestial bodies in this system, yet they are nowhere to be found. Sensors have been recalibrated and numbers rechecked, but the theory stands disproven by the reality in front of us. We have marked the missing planetoids on our star chart, and perhaps a closer scan of the system would reveal more." We have now spent several days performing a deep analysis of the stellar bodies in this system before we came to an inescapable conclusion. The planets have been moved. The abnormal hyperlanes we detected in the system were each tethered to where we previously would have expected to discover a planet. After studying these strange hyperlanes, we've realized that they all led to the same place, a star system called Dacha, which initially we thought was unreachable, yet if we combine all these slender hyperlanes, we think we could pass our science ship through the gap. I volunteered the Reliant to investigate, and orders came through quickly. Thus we will attempt to traverse this hyperlane in search of new life and new civilizations. A wonderful sight greeted us upon translating in system. Orbiting each of the 3 stars in the Dacha system are ecological paradises, Gaia worlds, each capable of not just sustaining organic life, but allowing it to thrive in wonderful beauty. Initially, we thought these worlds might be uninhabited, as there is a complete lack of any pollution or any form of contaminant, yet, after performing deeper scans, we've discovered large, sprawling cities, spanning each planet from end to end. Stranger still, it seems like only the central star has planets originally from this star system. The other stars are orbited by planets from Helios and other more remote star systems. Essentially, someone has taken stars and planets and put them in this system. Surveying a new Gaia world is usually a momentous event for myself and the crew. However, I suspect it's going to become routine for the next few months. These multiple worlds house some very strange pre-FTL species, and it seems that they have not achieved spaceflight, yet their renewable energy production rivals our most efficient zero-point reactors. A further oddity is a spread of equal resource. Every world has everything they need to survive, which you would have thought would be impossible. We are seeing goods only produced on one planet somehow arrive on another, without a single transport ship taking flight. Somehow, these pre-FDLs have managed to hide a star system and a hyperlane and invented some sort of teleportation technology, and yet have no detectable battle fleets. I am concerned. There is absolutely no way these aliens are not aware of our presence. They are clearly far more technologically adept than they appear to be. Furthermore, we suspect that this teleportation technology is actually a derivative of hyperlane technology, and every one of their worlds is currently linked together through this artificial hyperlane network, a little bit like a Stargate system. These lanes or gates are then used to transport necessary resources like food or building materials to the other worlds in need. But we have absolutely no idea how the technology works. Clearly, the next step for us is to build observational posts in order to better learn and understand these aliens, though I must wonder what the consequence of building an observational post would be. Several months have now passed post-construction of the observational posts above the Gaia worlds in the Dacha system. During this time, there was little to no activity change, but then, out of the blue, we received a hail from one of the planets. It was from an individual representing the Habinte Unified Worlds. They operated as a moral democracy of a splintered people. They were a floating purple blob, and they appeared on screen. It had the following to say. "Oh, is this how you communicate? We have been watching you ever since you entered through the hyperlane, but couldn't figure it out. Is it not dangerous to travel in those metal boxes? It seems like we could learn a lot from one another, so if that is your intention, please feel free to stay. If you wish to claim our home, be aware we are not helpless." In the immediacy, we used our time to scan their worlds and continue to inspect them as a people. Their planets, as we know, are lush Gaia worlds, beautiful, and it seems that their buildings are set up to match. They have several Gaia seeders on each planet, and we assume that these help maintain a perfect ecological balance across their worlds. Their cities are gorgeous hanging gardens. They certainly live as one with the nature of their worlds, making great effort to put space aside for wonderful nature preserves. And on top of this, they have giant trees reaching kilometers in height that they call grand saplings. These trees feed millions of their people, as well as the surrounding wildlife. In other oddities, they also appear to have a rudimentary radio telescope. We're confident that there is more to it than it seems, because it certainly feels inconceivable that a species capable of transporting goods via hyperlanes between planets would still be using a regular old radio telescope. Finally, to finish the analysis of their people themselves, they are decadent yet ingenious, communal and intelligent, meanwhile being slow breeders. They have a preference for a desert lifestyle, and ethically are solidly pacifistic. We spent the next several months in fairly regular contact with them, trying to learn and understand all we could regarding their technologies. They mostly seemed interested in our culture and history. Perhaps we had little else to offer. Nevertheless, the insights we gained into hyperlane technology through our cooperation has been frustratingly slow. It seems that to achieve the mastery of a local hyperlane cluster like they have, we would need to spend several thousand years cataloguing hyperfluctuations. It was at this point we received a new communication from their chief representative. They had the following to say. "To be honest, your presence here has been grating, so now we have taught you what you came for, we need to ask you to leave. Having judged that our ways of life are incompatible, we worry that you might covet what we have in the future, so to prevent any feelings of ill will, we wish to offer you one of our worlds. We'll handle the transportation. Don't worry." As soon as the transmission ended, our ship's systems went haywire. Alert klaxons sounded, and for a full 3 minutes our navigational computer and all sensors received no data. When everything started to come back online, we found ourselves in the Deneb system, orbiting Unity. But we weren't alone. Another planet appeared in system with us, one of the Gaia worlds from the Dacia system, Sol X. This raised an incredible number of questions, but two are most pertinent. Firstly, why is this planet called Sol X? That can surely not be a coincidence, but what relation, if any, does it have to our ancestors' world? I have no idea. Perhaps more importantly though, is the knowledge that these aliens can literally teleport planets halfway across the galaxy. An insane level of power must have been acquired to do this, and even more worryingly, how these aliens managed to hide all of this technology from us even after months of observation. Truly, they are giants in a galactic playground. So my lords, what do you think? Are these a long-lost fallen empire? Are they the Stellaris reborn? And do you think they had anything to do with the Ultima Vigilis system? Please let me know your thoughts.